Okay, David Newton.
Yeah, Kyle, David Newton, ESPN.com. Two things. To clarify, you don't want rules out on the track. You want to be able to have at it, do anything you want without really any consequences. And second, what do you really not like about Kevin?
You know, the rules part, I really don't. There doesn't need to be any clarification as far as the rules go. You know, the on the racetrack stuff. You know, I don't know that it really means much difference when somebody spins you out from behind on the straightaway at Homestead going 170 miles an hour into the inside wall and ended up in a ball of flames. That's any different than spinning somebody out down the front stretch at Darlington at 170 miles an hour. You know, I don't see any difference there. You know, I think it was just two ways maybe of going at it, but you know, it's just the way that it was kind of the cards were dealt at that particular moment. So, and the second part of the question, what don't I like about Kevin? You know, I don't know. I've never gotten along with the guy. You know, I don't know that he ever really got along with my brother either. I think there's something beyond from his past growings ups maybe and racing with Kurt that I don't know, and I was just kind of thrown in that I was never really liked. So I don't know.
All right, we'll go to Reed Spencer, Chuck Givler, Brian Pope.
Reed Spencer with Sporting News. Kyle, Kevin said that when you guys had the meeting with NASCAR yesterday, they were pretty clear about what probation meant and what was expected of you guys. Dale Jr., on the other hand, on Monday said that he didn't think that probation changes the way you race between the flags. You know, it's just what happens afterwards. Do you agree with that, and do you think you guys will race essentially the same way?
Well, you know, I think the focus of probation is between the two of us. It's between the situation. You know, if I was out there on the racetrack, say racing for 4th or 5th place or something like that, and I got loose and I got into Jimmy Johnson or somebody like that, and I spun them out and wrecked them, you know, that has no consequences to the probation. You know, if I'm out there racing hard and trying to pass Kevin, for instance, or something, and I feel like he's blocking me, and I spin him out and I wreck him, you know, there's going to be consequences to that. So that's how I see it, you know, and of course to anything happening off the racetrack or something like that, you know, that's also what it relates to. But as far as on the racetrack goes, good, clean, hard competition, somebody making a mistake, something like that, it doesn't mean anything.
Chuck Givler.
Thank you. Kyle, Chuck Givler, the Express Times. My paper serves eastern Pennsylvania and western New Jersey. And my question is, in situations like this, and in this particular one, there's you, there's NASCAR, and there's your team owner. Do sponsors ever get involved, and did they get involved here in the conversation that you know of, and what kind of things, how would they be involved?
I'm trying to figure out how the question's being asked so I can answer it correctly, but yeah. Yeah, can you try again? Try it another way. I'm sorry.
M&Ms ever get involved in you know, what's going on and be either concerned or say, wow, we're selling lots more M&Ms when this thing happens? Or, I mean, does a sponsor get involved, you know, as to how you'll hear things from above?
Yeah, they do get involved, and you know, I'm going to say sometimes they do, and in this case, yes, they were involved a little bit, but more so they were involved in what the repercussions were going to be of what happened and transpired after the race. You know, they knew what the situation was. They knew how it was outlined. They knew I didn't have reverse and all that, so they knew I was limited in my choices there on pit road. So to say that they're selling less M&Ms or to say that they're you know, unhappy with the situation, I would have to disagree in that. And you know, I feel like they stood behind me the most they've ever stood behind me in this act, actually. So I appreciate their support, and that they stood behind me because I kept my head, I kept my cool, and I stayed in my race car and knew that was my best place to be and the best situation for what was going to come of anything. And so they were behind me 100%, which I appreciate, and I thank them.
Okay, we're going to wrap this up with Sean. Do you have a mic?
Yes. Kyle, Sean Nissen with the Daily Times out of Salisbury, Maryland. Kevin was in here, and he kind of sounded like he kind of thought that people higher up in NASCAR might have been secretly, applauding incidents like last weekend. I want to know from you whether you think it's beneficial to you or to the sport for incidents that occurred last Saturday.
I don't know, to be honest with you. That'd be a good question for the media staff of NASCAR, or maybe even Helton. I don't know, but to me, I would say that there was certainly a lot of attention drawn to the sport the last couple of weeks with the 42 and the 39, and then last week with us. But there should also be a lot of attention drawn to the sport with Regan Smith and his win, and him winning his first race in NASCAR at the Southern 500 and getting his name locked into the All-Star race here coming up next week. So that was definitely really cool. I think that was, all of us racers will say that was the bigger story, but some others will disagree with us. So, to be honest with you, to me, I'm more about out on the racetrack and being able to race and being able to have fun racing and doing what I was raised to do and doing what I love to do, and ultimately trying to get to victory lane and winning some races. So hopefully we have a shot at 3 of them here this weekend. Are we good?
Yeah, I got one more. Woody came with MRN. Kyle, can you describe a little bit the feeling you might have if you can win in the Nationwide Series and catch Mark Martin? I know you've not been too hip on the numbers or records type of guy, but how meaningful will that whole thing be to you?
It's really meaningful, and I'd really like to do it here in these next couple of weeks, to be honest with you, because I asked Mark if he would be around on Saturdays or Friday night Nationwide race, I guess, is in Charlotte. But no, it is Saturday night, ain't it? Yeah, because it's the 600 weekend. I asked him if he would be around so he could come to Victory Lane and help celebrate me tying his record and take some photos. That both of us were able to reach such a milestone. That it's his milestone, and that's why I asked him to be there, so that I can take photos with him and have him kind of be there smiling, and I wouldn't say he's in support of it. I'm breaking his record, but at least recognize that someone else has been able to get as high as he has in the win column. So that would be really cool, and I'd appreciate that we could get that done and have him there with us.
Thanks, Kyle. We appreciate your
All right,
time this
thanks.
morning. Good luck this weekend.